How's it going today? Captain Ron from the closet today. We're going to ask some questions to Zach and Corey at PNW Homes Group. Zach and Corey have been here for a while now, so I'm going to just kick it off. Corey, how is training going with Zach these days?
Good. I mean, Zach and his wife Mel, since they've been on the team, has just been really killing it. I mean, they've followed everything that we talk about doing that's been successful for us in doing the work. Of course, I learned everything that I know from Ron and, of course, altered it into what works for me and my personality. And I see Zach and Mel have done the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of new agents think that leads are just going to flow in and you're going to start making a lot of money. But you have to work hard. You got to put the work in. I have done exactly what they have been telling me what to do, which is, cold calling every day. When the weather's nice, we go door knocking. It's something that has worked for both of them. And, Mel and I have just taken that really serious. And, if you want to, progress, you really have to put the work in. And just following their footsteps is something that we have really tried to do.
Yeah, real estate, getting into it is difficult in the way of it doesn't just happen. It doesn't just automatically come to you just because you have your license. And it does take work. It does take that time and effort, and a lot of it does seem like it's maybe a waste of time. But if you consider a comparison of a 9-to-5 job that pays you, hourly rate or a salary rate, you have all that mundane stuff in between, and you're like, what am I doing all this for? That's the same thing with real estate and your business. That's the cold calling. That's the door knocking. Those are the things that seem mundane, but in time they build up.
Yeah, and I'll interject because we're going to get to another question, but both of these guys are the hardest working guys. They listen, they work, their personality is amazing. They're the most straightforward and honest. I'm so proud to have them on PNW Homes Group. So that's why it gives me great privilege to do this. To be honest, I'm stumbling over my words because I'm so proud of these two. All right, back to the next question. Zach, what have you learned? I know you kind of hit this as a new agent. What would you give advice for?
Things don't come easy. It's a numbers game basically in real estate. So, the more calls you make, the more, we do a lot of direct mail. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to really put your heart and soul into it. You got to keep on top of it. If you take a week off, that's a week off that, you're not going to make any money. And homes don't typically close, in a week or two, unless you have like a cash offer. It's going to take, 30 days. So you might have a house under contract right now, but you're not going to see the benefits until 30 days. So keeping on top, even if you have homes under contract right now, still you're trying to build up your pipeline. So continuously calling, door knocking, marketing, social media, you have to be on top of it. You can't stop. Even if you're like, okay, this house is going to close, I'll get a nice little check. But you got to keep that going, because once you have that, then your pipeline could be done. You got to keep grinding.
Yeah, that's a good point. Of a lot of us get into real estate because we want to have our own business, we want to set our own hours, and we want to have that freedom and autonomy to be able to do whatever we want. And for me, it was my family. I wanted to be with my family, and I feel like that's the same thing that a lot of people do when they get into real estate, is they want to be with their family. And so what Zach's saying, it may sound like, well, I have to always work, and even when I'm on vacation and stuff like that. That is not necessarily a true statement. Does it happen? Yes. If you're very dedicated to what you do, and you tend to be, I guess, a workaholic, that can be the case. However, if you are good at planning and you're good at keeping those wheels turning while you're working, and then you schedule your vacations, and you have a team like we have, you can have your team help you while you're on vacation. That way you're not working when you're on vacation, and anything that comes in can be referred off to your team. And so you do get that time with your family. You do get that away time from work, and you get to relax and not have all that.
Good point. Very good point. Okay, Corey, let's start with you. Funniest story you have in real estate?
Oh, man.
Anything funny? Or I guess, you never expect in real estate? So you came into this world, you expect, you see the TV shows, you see, I don't even keep up with them anymore. I stopped watching. Once I hit real estate, I stopped watching all the shows. It's crazy because it's all, I shouldn't say make-believe, but it's just not reality in our world.
Well, to be honest, it takes a lot to surprise me. I came from working in prisons. So the story that pops in my mind is I had a listing that we were working on getting it painted inside because it needed to have some paint and a little bit of other work to be done before we listed it. And the day that they finished painting it, and the next morning, I was going to go out there and put up the sign and make it active. Well, I literally showed up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and as soon as I show up, I'm driving down the road, and I see all these signs on the fence that say no trespassing and a curtain in the window. Now, mind you, this house was vacant. And so I'm like, what is happening here? Like, there's nobody here. The owners live in California. It was a rental before this. So I go, coming from the prisons, I'm immediately like, somebody broke into the house and they're squatting on the house. It's exactly what happened. Somebody broke in, they took my lockbox, dismantled it, got the keys, changed the lock, and had all the windows covered so you couldn't see in there, and they were in there sleeping, doing drugs. And so I called the owner and just told them, like, hey, you got some people that are squatting in their house now.
How did that conversation go?
He's like, oh, really? What did we do? And I said, well, you should probably call the police. And so he called the police. Police show up, and Lacey PD was fantastic. They showed up.
Love Lacey PD. Sorry.
Yeah, they came in and they got him out. They just, they surrounded the house, finally got him to come out, and the guy came out, and he had a warrant for his arrest in King County for doing the same exact thing. He produced a fake lease saying, I've got a lease on this house. It looks like lease paperwork, but I know because I've been talking to the seller, the owner, and he's like, no, I've not created any lease with anybody. And so, of course, they arrested that guy, and the gal that was with him, they did not arrest her, but told her, like, you need to clean this house out as fast as you can and get out of here. And so they did that. Of course, that guy's car was in the garage, so I had to have a tow truck come tow the truck away. And she took off with her car loaded full of crap, and I still found some crack cocaine in the house, or what I thought might have been that. But yeah, so it was that was an interesting experience.
And we'll say real estate never ceases to surprise me. It's just never changing. All right, Zach, anything?
Well, I don't have any crazy stories, but I will say, kind of getting back to like what to expect, like when you're a new agent. So like when you see real estate shows online, everybody's in suits. They got nice cars. You can do that, but being like your own boss, you kind of have to, you can dress and like you act like how you are. It was kind of an adjustment for me because I thought you really had to show like the flashiness side. But that's typically not really how it is, at least here in like Thurston County area. I will also say,
well, that's a good point. I don't mean to jump in, but I've always taught our style. I was taught that when I was younger. You are who you are. So if you're true to yourself and true to your style, you can sell and people trust you. And that's the whole point, is they trust you. I don't need a suit. And trust me, we can all suit up. We have PNW Homes Group hoodies here. We're doing our meetings. We're doing marketing. We're doing everything else in between, but it's our style. And so if you want our style, great. If you need a suit and a corporate person because that's what you're used to, sure, we can. But we're going to stay true to our style. And I think that's what's helped all of us be extremely successful because you know what you get. We're not trying to be fake.
That's and that's something I taught even when I worked in DOC. I taught, like, be yourself. Never change who you are, because that's the truest you, and that's what attracts people to you. And again, yeah, we can all clean up. We can, wear the suit and all that, but that's not. Well, for me, that's not who I am. I'm not like a suit and tie kind of guy, and I want to attract people that are similar. I mean, we don't have to be like-minded or believe in all the same things, but just know that I'm going to have your back no matter what.
Right.
This is who I am. I mean, literally what I'm wearing right now is what I would probably show up to a showing,
Yeah.
But if push comes to shove and I have to wear a tie and
Well, trust me, we all look good. We can all clean up. I just took pictures with a tie. My wife didn't like any of the pictures with the tie because I look awkward. I'm like squinting, doing this.
Yeah.
She's like, I like where you're more or less formal. It's just,
it's
that's
comfort.
who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can all suit up, but I'm not there to dress for you. No offense. I'm there to get you the highest price, sell your home, protect your home. I mean, squatters, whatnot, we'll be there. I mean, I can vouch for all of us. We will mow lawns, we will do this. Now, I'm not trying to say we want to do that. Don't get me wrong. But I can tell you, hot water tank straps. How many have we put on? I have those by the box. Smoke detectors.
Pressure washing the house, cleaning the roof off. I mean,
door handle
If the
changes.
seller leaves stuff, you might have to do a dump run.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what you're hiring us for, is to get the highest price for your home, do the paperwork correct, negotiate. All that falls into real estate. If you're looking, I get it, if you're down in LA and New York, I understand you have the different, but welcome to Olympia, Washington. This is our style. And okay, final question. What do you guys think of real estate, Zach?
Oh, I love it. So I got into it. So I had my wife and I, Mel, we had our daughter, and I was on leave for 3 months. And I was doing the 9-to-5 thing. I had a boss. I was grinding hard, and I would not get any extra, no matter how much work I put in, my pay was always the same. And I was doing the same thing over and over. And while I was on leave, I was like, I'm not happy. I got to get out. I'd like to be my own boss. The money in real estate, you can make, depending on how hard you work, you can make a lot of money. Yeah, exactly. And so when I was on leave, Mel and I, we met with Ron to kind of pick his brain about real estate. And literally, we were just sold. We have some friends who are in real estate, and we saw how much fun and how well they were doing, how successful. And so I kind of just went full board and got licensed, joined the team. I love it. I'm at home in the morning. I get to have breakfast with my 2 kids and my wife. My schedule is flexible. I love it. I think a lot of people should do it. I mean, you do have to put the work in. It's not going to come easy, but for me, it's the best decision I think I've ever made.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah, real estate has been great to me and my family, and it's not without its ups and downs, just like any other job. But
it's stressful.
It is stressful because you're solely commission paid, and so if the market changes, you don't know when your paycheck's coming. So if you're grinding and you're doing all the things that may seem mundane or useless or a waste of time, it's going to pay off in the end, in time. And the more you do that, the more things build up. As your pipeline builds up, you start to have a more solid flow of money. But again, there are those times that you're like, oh, I haven't had a check in a while. What am I going to do? So it takes some strategy of planning, and just like you should be doing with any job, is planning your money and spending it as it should be spent and investing where it needs to be. But once you get established and you get that nice pipeline, you get the flow of how your work schedule works for you, you can carve out free time to do whatever you want with your family. And I guarantee you're going to have more time with your family than you will ever have with any other type of job. Now, I maybe that's a blanket statement, but that I don't know all the jobs out there. But
Well, it's a good point. I mean, we get the freedom.
yeah,
You're your own boss, so you make the money you make, you spend the money you make. I think the biggest caution I say is you get a big check, 10, 15, 20,000. You spend it, you don't work, you go on 3 vacations, the money's gone, and now you have to rebuild the pipeline. So I've always been a strategy of long-term success, build the pipeline, work, save, go and spend as you need. And these guys have followed it to a T. And that's ultimately at PNW Homes Group what we're looking for. Is we want people like us, and we just don't take anybody, but we want people with us that have the same model, that are straightforward, honest. To be honest, I'm just happy with these two. I mean, look at us. We're making a video. Wednesday, we have a soft opening for another agent that has an arcade place that's doing well. I don't know. I'm blessed. Not only to one, we all have this brand share with PNW Homes Group, but we're all our own boss. We're all doing really well. We're working hard. We have families that we all get to hang out with in the morning and come here and hang out as guys. And I guarantee you in an hour or two, we all got showings. We have to go do stuff. And then we go back to our family. And we're with our kids in the evening. Maybe we'll have to shoot out to do a listing or a showing, and that's it. Welcome to real estate, but we work hard. We make our money. We take care of our clients. And it doesn't get more local than this. So we'll start doing more questions from the closet with Ron. Every week, so you guys understand what's going on. We'll hit the market next week. We'll let you know what's going on. We have a few short videos of how well we're doing. Funny 1 or 2 in there for TikTok. But this is us.
yeah.
Thanks, Ron here.
Zach?
Corey.
Talk to you guys later.